call me Mystic Mike because I predict these things.
Francisco Prado takes on Nikolay Veretennikov this Saturday on the prelims of UFC 318. This is a good fight. This is a good test for both of these guys. Francisco Prado making his second attempt at welterweight. Used to fight at 155 pounds. Moving up to welterweight now. I guess the UFC PI kind of suggested that he do that just with his body composition and his issues with the weight cut. So was unsuccessful in his first fight against Jake Matthews. No shame in losing to Jake Matthews. Dude's a stud, coming off of a win over Chidi and Njokuani in the first minute of the first round. So no shame in that loss. But Francisco Prado, 23 years old, super young, 5'10", 69-inch reach. Kind of small for the division. In terms of frame, he is pretty thick, big legs on the guy, so not terribly small, just in terms of range and length, he's going to be kind of the smaller guy the majority of the time. But fights out of American Top Team, all wins that he has by finish, so 12 wins by finish. Started martial arts around like 6 years old when he was really young with karate and boxing. Has kind of a Mike Tyson style where he dips his head and kind of throws big strong hooks. Very good technically on the feet, dangerous striker, has fast hands, really good power. Strikes with high output, and he's just very aggressive in the pocket. Has really hard kicks, a spinning wheel kick that's very impressive. Good high teep kicks, tough as hell. Really good chin. Been in a few wars, back and forth. Had that war with Malarkey, Zellhuber. Really good fight with Jake Matthews as well. So dude's down to fight. Will shoot takedowns to mix it up. Has a decent ground game, purple belt in jiu-jitsu, was able to get Jake Matthews down in the first round as well. Just known for a solid ground game. I think he has like 6 submissions, and just effective on top with ground and pound and off of his back as well. Taking on Nikolay Veretennikov, who this dude's big for welterweight, and that's kind of one of my major concerns in this is Prado is small for welterweight, and Veretennikov is big for welterweight. He looked huge, especially in his fight against Michael Morales, who we know is very big as well. He's just very tall, thick, just a big guy. He's getting up there in age, though, 35 years old. He's 6'1" with a 74-inch reach, so he's going to be 3 inches taller and have a 5-inch reach advantage, which is going to be pretty substantial, I think, in this fight, because I think it's going to take place primarily on the feet. But he trains out of King's MMA. Throws hard when he does throw. Can be kind of tentative at times. Was kind of frozen against Barlow. Just didn't really get a lot of offense out there, but has good teep kicks, side kicks, kicks to the knees, which are kind of cheap, but just kind of hesitant at times and doesn't really get his offense going. Will throw kind of a looping hard punch at times, but kind of clunky on the feet, honestly. His last fight against Vanderford, I thought he'd be able to keep that one on the feet and kind of just beat up Vanderford. And looked like he'd never wrestled in his life before. You get this guy to the ground, and he's just kind of a victim on the ground. Doesn't really have an ability to get back up. Isn't threatening with anything off of his back. So he's just very unreliable. Doesn't have a win in the UFC. I get it. Danny Barlow, Austin Vanderford, they're no schmucks. Michael Morales, these aren't terrible guys to be losing to, but then you look at his record on the regional scene, just doesn't have a lot of good wins, hasn't fought a lot of really good guys, several losses earlier in his career on the regional scene. So I'm going to go with Francisco Prado in this one. I know that Prado is good. I know that he's a dog. I know he's talented. I know he's got skills everywhere. I don't know about Nikolay Veretennikov. Yeah, he's knocking out some cans on the regional scene, but when he gets up there with the big boys in the UFC, he's struggling. Either freezing, isn't getting any offense out there, not defending takedowns. I just don't see where he takes advantage and takes over in this fight against Francisco Prado, who is super tough. I think he's going to be able to take his punches and just going to be able to mix it up a little bit better. Nikolay hasn't looked good in the UFC. Prado suffered with the range of Zellhuber and Malarkey, but he took those fights on short notice. Even if he had full camps at 23 years old, losing to Jamie Malarkey, Daniel Zellhuber, and Jake Matthews by decision, unanimous decisions, I can excuse that because, he's got a lot of good experience. He wasn't really getting outclassed in those fights. Some of them, he lost, obviously, but, at 23 years old, he's not even sniffing his prime yet, and he's getting the rub of these guys that are very good and having success in moments in those fights, but losing to really good guys by decision. I know Nikolay will have the reach advantage. I just think Prado's going to bring it with power and volume and just tenacity. Nikolay at times doesn't seem to really get his offense going. He's kind of hesitant. I don't know if it's due to just age or just nerves going into the fight, but I trust Prado to get this one done. Gonna be smaller in terms of length, but he does, I think he still has the ability to hurt Nikolay on the feet. Use his clinch, use his grappling to kind of open up his strikes or get him to the ground. Nikolay Veretennikov, he was showing good takedown defense against Michael Morales in their fight on the Dana White's Contender Series just in the first round, but then he was just getting taken down and beat up. He just doesn't seem to have an answer when somebody gets him to the ground. So I just trust Prado to bite down a little bit more and get after it a little bit more. I think he's the better striker technically, and I think he's the better grappler as well. He's just very well-rounded, has more ways to win this fight. Only thing against him going into this is the size, and sometimes that can be beneficial if he's not having to cut tons of weight, whereas Nikolay Veretennikov, like I said, big dude, maybe he's, struggling with the weight cut. Who knows? But I'm going to go with Francis Prado in this one to get it done. The odds are -145 for Prado. Again, he's the more talented guy pound for pound, and from a technical perspective, but just I think the odds are reflecting the glaring size gap between these guys. But I think Prado, 23 years old, is only going to be making rapid improvements in his game. Like I said, not even anywhere near close to his prime yet. And Nikolay Veretennikov, 35 years old, isn't going to be, he's not going to show up reinvigorated and reinvented at almost 36 years old. So I'm going to go with Prado, who's going to be the more improved fighter every time we see him, younger guy. And I think he gets this one done by decision. Thanks.